Hi everybody, welcome back to my modern homestead. If you don't already know, my name is Janet and it is so good to see all of you. I'm so happy to be back with you. If you've not been following along, my mother passed away last Thursday and we had her funeral Sunday. So we are back in action and I want to share with you a meal that my sister had made. My sister had made. I don't have a maid. I need one. My sister and I made this recipe for my mom. Well, I guess my sister really made it. I just kind of followed along and watched what she did and helped with the biscuits. But anyway, we are making the chicken and dumplings that we made for my mom right before she passed away. So I thought I'd bring you along and show you. I picked up all of these ingredients for less than $10. So this is a great family meal because it will feed at least a family of 4, if not more, depending on how many people are in your family and how much they eat. So let's look at what we're going to do. The first thing I want to do is take our chicken breast. Excuse me, these are not breast. I am using dark meat for this because it just gives the meat, gracious, I can't talk today, the broth a better flavor. We're just going to open it, and these pieces like this that have a lot of fat on them, we're just going to take them off. This is still frozen because I had bought these the day before I got called back to the hospital. I was trying to get a couple meals done real quick before I had to go back, but we didn't make it, so that's all right. I just stuck them in the freezer and we're using them now. And you can take off as much of the fat as you want and leave as much as you want. It's totally optional and up to you. So we're just going to keep doing this, and then we'll bring you back when we're ready to put it in the pot. See, it comes off easily, especially if your thighs are not still frozen. This has been out all day. I don't know why it's still frozen. All right, so here are our breasts. Oh, gross. Right into the pot. Let me get this cleaned up and we'll finish adding what we need to. All righty, let's add in the seasonings. Now you can be as fancy as you want or as simple as you want. We're just going to be on the safe side and keep it simple. We're just going to add a little bit of sea salt. We'll add more as we go. A little bit of pepper. So keep the salt out. And a little bit of garlic powder. Now, I wasn't there when my sister was doing the broth, so I don't know what she put in hers, but if I had to guess, I bet she put in a little bit of Worcestershire sauce in it. I'm not going to do that. Let's add in a little bit of chicken broth base seasoning. I'm guessing 1.5 to 2 tablespoons. And then I'm going to add in a little bit of chicken broth. So here we go. Now this is why I went easy on the salt. Go easy because you can always add more salt, but broth tends to be salty, and that broth base and seasoning powder is salty. Let's turn this on. I'm going to let it simmer for a couple of hours, but I'm going to add one more thing. Nothing really special, just a little bit of water, because some of this will evaporate out and cook down. So there we go, y'all. Easy as that. And just let it cook till the chicken's done. Taking off the lid, so let's take out the thighs. drain them. This is very, very tender, so it's not going to be hard to get this meat off of the bone. And that's all we're going to do right now. Actually, we're going to take off the skin too. You don't want the skin down in this. And if you're doing this at home and you've just taken the chicken out, be careful not to burn yourself. And the chicken just shreds right off, just that easy. So that's what we're going to do. Be careful. Make sure you don't have any bones in it. And just keep going till it's all done. It won't take you but a minute. All right, y'all. This is so, so quick. This is the last one. Some people go a little crazy about touching hot things. Just use common sense. You know your pain tolerance and what your hands are able to handle. So just be careful with those hot bones and chicken. Now all we're going to do is just shred it up a little bit and put it back in the pot in which we cooked it. And these you can leave the chunks as big as you want, or you can make them as small as you want. And the broth is still hot, so be careful putting this in. There we go. Now you see how much the broth is cooked down, so we're going to have to add, I pulled out the wrong spoon. We're going to have to add a little bit of broth-based seasoning and some water to this, and it will be just all right and fine. One thing we're also going to add, let me swap this out with Alyssa. Let me stick that over there. Put that on the counter with the biscuits. We're also going to add, this is about 4 tablespoons of butter. So half of a stick. A little less, it's close enough. All right, let's do the biscuits. Before we do the biscuits, let's go ahead and get the broth done. Just a little more water, and I have to use bottled water because of the water we have. If you've got good water, don't worry about it. Just use what you got out of the tap. Some more of the broth base and seasoning, and that's good enough. And remember, this is all to taste. There's no exact amount. For this, I'm going to use the buttermilk biscuits. I don't like using the flaky layers, but that's all our store had. And this is so easy. If you want to make your own biscuit dough, that's fine. You do that. Excuse that noise. It doesn't, there we go. It didn't want to open. This part is not hard, but for whatever reason, my sister can fly through it. I guess that's what happens when you're the baker. It takes me forever. I just like to flatten out the biscuit a little bit. My sister does not. And put a little flour over it after you put some on the cutting board. And then you just roll it out really thin. And my sister will go to town. She'll have this done. She would already had it done. People always told me I'm so slow. I'm not going to roll mine quite as thin as she did hers, because that turns out like a noodle. If you roll from the middle, it doesn't shrink back as much. Yeah, okay, well, whatever. Oh. Now what she does, I thought this was pretty neat. It's a little bit thicker than what she does. They're just fine. Again, that's preference. She puts flour over it. She folds it in half, flours again, and flours again over the top. and rolls it one more time. Again, as thick or thin as you want. And she picks it up, shakes it out, and there's the flour for the next biscuit. So at this point, she will just take it. Again, this is preference. You can do wide or thin strips. You can leave them as long or cut them as short as you want. I like them like this. That's all there is to it, y'all. So we're just going to keep doing these, and when they're done, we'll add them to the pot. And they've got so much flour on them, they don't really stick together that much. So you can lay them just like this. Easy peasy. Last biscuit, y'all. And it didn't take me forever. I guess I was just trying to be so careful to do it my sister's way. I was just being slow. But you don't have to be careful with this at all. You just get it as thin as you want it. Alyssa walked in here while I was doing this. She said this was Nana's last meal that she actually ate the meal for. I said, yep, you're right. It was so funny. She eats hot sauce, or she ate hot sauce in hers. Mama never was one for hot sauce till my sister moved in with her. And then she started eating hot sauce and everything. And it had to be Texas Pete hot sauce. But she had been forever without eating. And she would take a little bite of something here and there, or a little sip of something. That day Debbie fixed these. She ate that whole bowl. I looked over there. She was turning the bowl up. Getting every last drop. Tickled us to death. Here we go. Let's put these in the pan. Look at all of them. Alright, before you start dropping the dumplings in, you want to make sure your broth is back up to a boil if it's not already. And just drop a few in at a time so that they don't stick together. I just do it one at a time and drop them all around. And this extra flour that's on here, you don't bother getting that off because that is what's going to thicken this up and make thick dumplings. A thick broth in your dumplings, I should say. You see, they already start puffing up. Can y'all see that? And that's why a lot of people like to roll them out really thin to begin with. This has been right here over my shoulder watching like a hawk. I just love it. I wish I had done that when I was young, when Mama would be cooking. Here we go. The dumplings are done. And we'll just let this cook down a little bit. And that's all there is to it, y'all. Doesn't that look good? Yum. Okay, y'all, some of these dumplings, if you can see, they still look white. So you just want to simmer them until your dumplings look done. And if you need to add more water because it's too thick, go right ahead. Just check for your seasons, like salt and pepper. Add those in there if you need it. Seasons. Oh, gracious, y'all. Can you tell it's been a long 2 weeks? I knew it didn't sound right. Other than that, it's done. Okay, y'all, I'm impatient. I can't wait. We'll try them. If you have big chunks of chicken left, just try to break them up as you're dipping. Mmm, so good. Excuse my cooking hair. Let's see if I can get just a little bit of a dumpling, a little bit of the chicken, and a little bit of the broth. Happy dance. I didn't put a hot sauce in mine, but you could. Y'all, this is so good and so easy. And as you can see from my pot, there is plenty for at least 4 people for under $10. So y'all go enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I love it when you come and spend a few minutes with me. So until we meet again, may you be blessed. Love you all so big, and I mean it. Till next time, y'all.